Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to gather a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world one character at a time. And it all starts with one thing, a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. To gain that understanding, I am mining the intersection of psychology, theology, and philosophy to make you a better writer. This is episode number 53. Name that character trait. New gal in the office. Well, we did our homework. We finished the empathy traits, and now we get to have a little bit of fun. We get another story. A story on a file card. We're going to see if we can name the character trait that goes with this story. Here we go. Arthur and Percy had already been co-workers for 4 years when Karen joined the company. But she quickly made inroads with their common boss. Doug seemed to direct his remarks in meetings directly at Karen. And she began acting as though she were vice department head and not just another member of their team. Things became more worrisome when Karen and Doug began having meetings without Arthur and Percy. Then, one afternoon, Karen pulled Arthur aside and told him that cuts were coming, and if he teamed up with her, she could assure him that Percy would be the one to go. Name that character trait. It's going to be from Arthur's point of view. Have you got a candidate in mind? You can pause if you need to think about a little bit more of which group of character traits you want to examine. Well, it was pretty easy, wasn't it? It's probably an empathy trait, well, in part because we just finished empathy, and also in part because it's clearly relationships are involved there. So let's just say, okay, we're confident that it's empathy. Let's take a look at which subgroup of empathy we think is involved. Okay, here we are with the various subgroups. Dependability, sociability, response, and honor. Let's go from the right to the left. Honor is an asymmetrical relationship. Well, there's certainly an asymmetrical relationship in the picture because there's a boss and there are 3 people who work for the boss. An argument could be made for that. Could it be response? Responding to the good things that come along? Probably not, huh? Sociability, pleasant to be around. I don't know about that Karen gal, but it's probably not the central theme. Dependability can be counted on to come through. Well, what exactly does that mean? I think I'd want to look at the individual character traits to decide. So let's take a look at the individual choices. Loyalty, honoring one's group. Responsibility, keeping one's commitments. Sincerity, truthful in speech and actions. Trustworthiness, doing what's right even when no one's watching. On the honor side, we had obedience, and we could probably rule out patriotism. So let's throw obedience in with those 4, and I'll give you a few minutes to think about if you could decide which one you would call the story to be about. You can always hit pause if you want a little more time. Well, Do you have an idea? Okay, I'm going to rule out obedience from my choice. You can defend your own choice. But from where I'm sitting, I would say I would rule out obedience because the boss isn't giving anybody any specific orders here. So I would kind of put that one aside. Trustworthiness, I think I would worry a little bit about exactly how trustworthy Karen is having private meetings with the boss. But we did say we were going to be looking at things from Arthur's point of view. Sincerity? Well, we haven't even seen Arthur say anything yet. Is he going to be called upon to be sincere? Perhaps. Responsibility? Doesn't really seem to be in the picture. How about loyalty? Loyalty was my pick. Was it yours? Loyalty was my pick because Arthur and Percy had been co-workers already for 4 years. That makes a certain amount of loyalty. They've shared the same position for all that length of time. One would expect that Arthur would be loyal to Percy. And it does indeed seem that Karen is pulling him aside, not pulling in the boss. Is just him and Karen, sort of as if to say, well, if we team up, we can make it Percy. But wouldn't you think that so soon after Karen arrived, that if someone had to be cut, should be Karen? She was the one not there very long. Of course, I don't know all of the dynamics, but to me, I chose loyalty. Which one did you choose? And would you like to say so in the comments and say a little bit about which one you chose? Okay, and we finished our lesson, but I do want to remind you one more time that I have a new book coming out. And it's going to be pretty darn close to free as I can make it. I can't afford to pay for the printing and the shipping, so I do have to ask you to cover that cost. But it's going to be coming out pretty soon. I'm hoping sometime in April. And if you want to know exactly when it's ready to have orders placed, you can check it out at my website, KathleenSpracklin.com/earlybird. And I will let you be among the very first to know when the book can be ordered. It's not only what the individual character traits are, but how to use them and combine them to be able to create an emotional journey that you take your readers on. So that is all for today. I will see you tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to be starting something different because we've already concluded reviewing all of the character traits. And so we'll play with a different topic starting tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.